Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The Goat, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. Thank you for joining us this morning for KMA episode number 427, broadcasting live from sunny South Florida. I am always here as your host, Honest Abe DeBavner, with my cohorts, the Italian scallion himself, Paul DeGracco.
Hi.
And a.k.a. the GOAT, Alex Tavella.
Good morning.
Look at that nice scenic background you got going on there.
Good morning. Reporting live from somewhere.
Right?
Is that Philadelphia?
It is Philadelphia.
Look at that. Alex getting all high tech on us.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is this because you wish you were home?
No, I tend to not really go home. So this is about as fond as I get to home.
Have you been home since you came back?
No.
Wow, that's been a while.
Yeah, about 4 years. Close to 4 years, 3.5.
Oof.
Wow.
Unlike Paul, who's probably home all the time. In fact,
Yeah.
Paul is actually broadcasting from his childhood bedroom.
I am.
Can we pan this room? Can we see this?
No, well, listen, we can't because now it's a storage room.
So your parents took your
know.
bedroom and made it a storage room for themselves.
For now, yeah, because they're getting ready to sell the house, I believe. So there's a lot of stuff everywhere. I can't. There's nothing that's mine that's in here, other than my suitcase, my bag, and that's it.
They got rid of all your Disney stuff?
All my Disney stuff is either gone or packed away in boxes or at my house in Florida, which, listen, I'm very excited because this morning I got really awesome news.
What was your news, Paul?
I'm sure it's
my new brother-in-law, he was cleaning out his parents' house and he found original ticket books for the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, and a couple of them were like unpunched or unripped off. So he said that's my gift. That's pretty cool. They're like the original when they used to do a ticket system.
Are they worth anything?
Probably like $40-$50, but they're cool. Like I've never even seen one. They were gone way before I was even around. In like 71 through the early 80s, they used them. You had to buy the ticket book with your admission. And then you could only go on a certain amount of rides.
So this was a culture that was instilled on you by your parents.
Yeah, I guess my dad says, we were talking about it yesterday when I brought the boys over here because Stephanie, not me, is at a baby shower. And the boys stayed here so that they're out of the way. It's her sister's baby shower, so she's throwing it. Well, anyway, so we're at my parents' house, not at the baby shower.
It's not so much she's throwing it. How did you get out of it?
Right.
No, I don't go to baby showers. I told you I went to 2 baby showers. One was my own that I showed up for, and one was like one of my mentors. His daughter had like a co-ed baby shower. It was the worst thing ever. I was there for 45 minutes and then I left. I brought a gift and left. They wanted me to be there because I worked at Tiffany at the time and they got silver spoons and they were having twins. So I had to buy double the damn gift.
You had to buy double the damn gift.
I had to buy 2 silver spoons with monograms on them. Pissed me off. When I worked at, I'm probably still under an NDA, but when I worked there, it wasn't that expensive to buy the silver spoons and get the monogram. But still, it was just, you had to have 2 of them.
And how long are you out of town for?
Listen, I'm here. I'm available. I'm around. You're going to make a comment.
It's a simple question. Why are you getting all bent?
It was just a question, Paul.
Holy cow.
I will be back in Florida most likely August 5th. So a couple more weeks.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're having a good time, man. I took a couple of days off from work the other day and we went to Alex's home state and we went to Amish country. We were in Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Wait,
we
Amish
stayed there
in Intercourse, Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
that's a little bit of an oxymoron right there.
That's I think that's part of the point now. Like, but Intercourse is like a big spot in the heart of Amish country.
I never heard of Intercourse.
No one else finds that ironic?
Yeah, it's right in Lancaster County, and it's like the heart of the tourism trap in Amish country.
Oh.
So we stayed there. We had a good time. We went to Dutch Wonderland.
Lancaster County is definitely Amish country for sure.
Oh yeah. So I'm sure there's people validating that there is an Intercourse, Pennsylvania. You're from there, Alex. It's not that far from Philly. What, 2 hours?
Paul,
An hour?
Paul, there's, to maybe give an example, there's like South Florida, and then there's the rest of Florida, and there's like Philadelphia, and then there's the rest of Pennsylvania. It's like its own entity within the state that doesn't,
Everybody in Tampa just got offended.
Hey, there's sorry, I'm not saying it's any better or worse, but they're clearly two different parts.
Here we go.
There is an Intercourse, PA.
Paul was desperately seeking someone to acknowledge it so he could put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I was waiting. Well, I was waiting for a valid, somebody that we trust.
And Coop, I'm sure, begrudgingly validated him.
I'm sure Coop's probably had some fast food in Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Probably not a lot of fast food in Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
You know what?
Probably a lot of jam. It's probably a lot of jam. A lot of
but there's like corporate areas now too. Like just outside of Intercourse, Pennsylvania, there's like everything you could find. There's a Golden Corral and there's chain restaurants and stuff. It's very strange.
I have never been to a Golden Corral.
Don't do yourself a favor unless you like diarrhea for 24 hours after you eat.
You know what? It's funny. We should do a segment on the places that we've never been to.
Like fast food chains?
Just chains in general.
That would actually be a really good one. I'm thinking of one in particular right now.
I might lose a lot of fans on this one. I've never been to a White Castle.
Oh my God! Did they not have them in Chicago?
Let me tell you a funny story.
I'm trying to
All right, true story.
Oh, I've been to a million.
I was one of the older kids in my class, so I was one of the first ones to get a driver's license.
Okay.
So like for a good 3 or 4 months, like I was the guy driving every weekend, right, picking up all the guys.
Yeah. So in the middle of the night, you don't go to White Castle and get a couple stacks.
I'm telling a story, Paul.
All right.
Let me get to the point. You'll find out. So, my first car it wasn't my first car. It was my mother's car, but that was the car I was able to use. It was a hatchback Chevy Citation. For all you youngins out there, you can Google it and see what it looked like. Not a cool car. So, I went to a Catholic high school, so a lot of Irish kids, a lot of drinking going on weekends, and no stereotype there. And we had this thing where, like, literally, like, at the end of the night, the guys would say, let's go to White Castle. Now, White Castle was literally on the same road I lived on, but probably a good 20 to 30 minute drive south. So,
okay. But not close.
No, not close, but where my friends lived was kind of in between, it was more toward the city of Chicago. So the first night we stopped, a couple of hot girls in the car next to us said something. They ended up going to, I think, a KFC. We followed them into there. We never made it to White Castle. The second weekend, literally same thing happens. We get sidetracked end of the night, and we never make it to White Castle. It now becomes a thing like where like we can't just make it to White Castle. It's almost like that movie, Harold and Kumar. We're just trying to get to a White Castle. So this goes on literally three weekends in a row, and the fourth weekend we're determined nobody's going to interfere. We're going to make it to White Castle. It's become like a stupid game with us. And this is literally within the first 6 months I've had my driver's license. And we decide to do it. So I literally do a U-turn to get us to the White Castle. It's a 2-lane road, not a tiny road, but not a huge road. And just ignorance, inexperience, whatever. I didn't realize like there was really a car near behind me. So I kind of veered around to make the U-turn, and the car just smashes into me. First car accident ever in my life trying to get to a White Castle. Never made it.
And never went back.
Never went back after that.
Well, it ruined it for you.
Didn't have a car for a while, and then we stopped even joking about it. It became like a jinx. So never made it to a White Castle. Though I did have 7 cousins get arrested in a White Castle.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah. I thank God I wasn't with them that night. It was.
Were you supposed to be?
We all hung together. Something happened that night. I wasn't there, whatever. And they ended up getting in a mass brawl with undercover police officers. And then
God.
Oh yeah. And then uniformed police officers. It was like a big, like ordeal. So
good thing you weren't there. We may not see you today.
That would have been another White Castle trauma in my life. But
yes.
Never made it to White Castle.
Wow.
Never made it to In-N-Out Burger, though I've had 2 opportunities. I mean, I was just in Vegas. I could have went, but
Yeah, it's right there.
I'm trying to think of what I haven't had.
I've never had Jack in the Box.
I've never had Jack in the Box.
I had Jack in the Box.
And there used to be one on Long Island that I used to pass almost daily, and I never went in there. I think it was the only one.
What's that other burger joint that's really popular with a W?
Whataburger. I've never had that either.
Never had a Whataburger.
Me too.
That's one of Coop's favorites, if not his favorite. I've never had it either. He says it's really good. And so, you know who else really likes Whataburger that posts about it all the time? Terrence Riley from Aganorsa always posts about Whataburger.
Yeah, when I tell people I never been to White Castle, they're always shocked, like utterly shocked.
Oh, they're so good. You get a Crave case. I forget how many burgers. It's 50 burgers in there. You got 2 guys. You can easily finish that.
You have to be shitting that out like 30 minutes later.
You know, you want to hear something weird about White Castle? It's the only food I've ever eaten in the world that smells exactly the same coming out as it did going in. It doesn't smell bad going in, but I'm telling you, you would know that you ate White Castle. It's weird.
I just feel like it's probably that grease coating of everything going in. It's the same coating going out, so it's just
I guess so. It does. You don't absorb it, right?
Greasy, coating of whatever of White Castle.
I disagree with Coop. I mean, everything else at White Castle is horrific. The fries are not good. Those Churchill's chicken rings are awful, but the burgers are good. I like them. The steamed burgers with the onions on top. I think you'd like them, Abe.
That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do on our next special edition, Tale of the Tape, is fries.
You know, when we go to Tampa, I think they did open I think they opened a White Castle on the way,
south or south in Tampa or near Orlando or something, right?
It's definitely on the way, I believe. I think it's like South Orlando, so we might be able to stop there. Or you know what? The frozen ones are really not that bad. Because when you microwave them, they stay in the pouch and they steam. They taste very similar.
Yeah, they sell them at Walmart.
Yeah, we could try those on the air one day, as long as you have a day, Abe. Because most people, like after an hour, you're busy for the rest of the day in the bathroom.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's a great diet.
But they're worth it. No joke. Wow, how'd we? Hey, wait. So you were just in Vegas? I've been to Vegas maybe 4 times, maybe 5. Every time I get out of the airport. When I take a cab, I have them stop at the In-N-Out Burger right there before we get to the Strip. But how was Vegas?
Hot.
Yeah, 116 degrees I saw one day.
Oh, like ridiculously hot. Brutally hot. You know, all these people who do the dry heat claim and all that kind of crap, I don't care. Dry heat, whatever. When it's 115, 120, dude, it's just torture. I mean, I'll take humidity any day of the week over that.
That's what I say. Yeah, listen, humidity is okay. It's hot. I'm sweaty. It sucks. I'm hot. But that dry heat, especially because of the way Vegas is set up. So I'm walking around and I'm in this nice, cooled, air-conditioned casino. And then I walk outside and it's like literally just shoving the blow dryer in my face.
Worse. I felt like I was in a room full of hot coal.
Yeah, it's like
blast in my lungs.
Punch in the face of heat.
You like that? You go for a schwitz. Now you just have to walk outside. You don't have to wait
I start in the steam room, get a little.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, that's what it's like. It's literally like walking into a sauna with the sun just torching you.
I mean, do you want to plug Monday, Abe? You got a big appearance coming on where you're going to do like a full recap, right?
Yeah, but I want an abridged version at least from Abe.
Because it's his first one in 3 or 4 years, right, Abe?
I really got to investigate to see how far back it's gone. It was definitely longer for my wife, who had been going to trade shows since before we were married with me. So it was really nice for her to see a lot of people she hadn't seen in like a decade.
Yeah.
It was good to see friends. It was, look, getting together like that as an industry, seeing other retailers, talking to other retailers, it's always a good thing. As far as the show itself, Aaron Loomis of Developing Palates, and Coop's going to be on later. I think he's hosting that show with him. They asked me. It was really funny. Aaron asked me to do a show about a recap, and I just kind of told him at first. I said, "Look, man, honestly, I had to work this show like I just got in the business 25 years ago."
Really?
Well, because my operations guy was handling a lot of stuff for the stores, and I was personally handling all the stuff for the new warehouse.
Okay.
So I was literally running around for 3 days, and didn't really have much time to be leisurely or pay attention. So when Aaron first asked me, I thought he wanted to recap a bunch of new products and cigars. And I said, I was going to tell him, Aaron, I'm really not the guy for that. And like, no, we want you to discuss what you thought about the show. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll happy to come on.
I can give you my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, the show has been plagued with issues regarding attendance and people wanting to be involved and participate. And while the show happened this year, I don't think any of those issues were resolved. I don't think any of those issues were addressed. A lot of people are, posted a lot of very positive things about the trade show. And look, if you think that just the fact that the trade show happened is a positive thing, that's great. Historically, the writing of orders has never been a problem. If you talk to any manufacturer of a trade show, they will tell you, oh, we did more business than we did the year before, which kind of makes sense because the people that go will be probably more of the people who have growing businesses.
Right.
They afford to go there, and they're going to spend more money because their business is growing. So the amount of orders written or dollars written has never been a complaint or a major complaint by most of the built and well, companies that have been around for a while. It's never been a major problem. So with a year and a half, or 2 years to really think this through and try to make it, and I'm just going to tell you something. If I was handling the trade show and the four of the people who probably took up the majority of the floor space opted to be out, I would have done everything in my power to make it the most epic trade show ever.
Yeah.
Naked women swinging from the ceilings, fireworks at night. I mean, anything just to make a statement at the very least,
right,
that this was an experience. But I don't want to do a huge deep dive into it. I'll talk about it more on Aaron's show with Coop on Monday. I think it's Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there'll be other great guys on there. Saka, Terrence Riley, I believe, Jay Davis, who's a newly elected member of the board.
Did you see Jay Davis's post yesterday? I thought it was hysterical.
What about not getting bashed in?
And he had a post of, I guess he received his Dunbarton TGS Saka second chance cigars and basically said, let me smoke one of these now before I get all butthurt with it. Honest Abe and Steve Saka on.
Look, I remember that first year I was on the board. So what I'm going to say, and I actually told Jay Davis at the trade show, please don't take any offense, has nothing to do with a guy who just got elected on the board. These are issues that have been existing for almost a decade. And in fact, a lot of people who I sat on the board with, I don't know how long ago it was, 10, 15 years ago, are still on the executive board, on their way out. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, but it's something that has to be said, because if you really want to do justice and try to make this show thrive, it has to be said. People got to hear it to really acknowledge what it's going to take. Otherwise, you're just on a carousel going round and round in circles, which is kind of essentially what this show was.
Huh. Okay. And the attendance was lower?
Listen, attendance lower, more, I never know. And there's always statistics and facts. The show did look fuller because the floor, and I've said this for many, 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 many years, that the show was just getting too big. They should have limited booth space. They should have condensed the size, because it just, no matter how many people you put on there, it was so massive. It just looked empty all the time. And, part of experience is a psychological feeling, right? So when you're looking and you're feeling this place is a ghost town, it's bad. I've always said, and I've told my employees, no one walks out of our shop saying, man, that was the best Viva La Vida cigar I ever had. No, because it's the same Viva La Vida cigar he had where he bought it in New York or bought it here or bought it wherever he was. No one, no one leaves a trade show saying, holy cow, I bought a lot of great product, or holy cow, I spent a lot of money. It's not, you go in there to do business. It's the experience is what everybody's going to talk about.
Right. So basically what you're saying is, should have been forget about attendance this year. Who cares about attendance? But let's make it so epic this year that attendance is guaranteed to be up next year because people feel like they missed out on something.
That's what's going to make the attendance.
Right.
That's the first couple of years I did the Great Smoke, I didn't even worry about losing money. I had to be so over the top that I wanted everybody to go home and tell 10 of their friends. And that's
you've said that.
From 300 to 3,000 people, and that's the mentality that really should be taken with the show. You need everybody to leave there and say, wow, dude, I had a great time. Because the great time or the fun stuff that's what's going to make me want to come back next year. Not writing the orders. I could do all that sitting right here in this chair.
Right.
That's the reality of it.
I got a question, not to move on from PCA, but Vegas itself. You were there in May, and you said it barely felt like Vegas. Any better in July? Yeah,
big change.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, like even little things like there was actually room service in a hotel. There was no room service back in there. They had a lot of individual plastic guards. What I saw was either no guards or guards just for the dealer, and everybody was kind of out in the open. A lot more places were open. Still hard to do a lot of things. I mean, we were trying to get dinner reservations some places, and the restaurants were half full, and they could not get you in because they have no people to work still.
Right. So I've heard that.
There's still some logistical issues, but a lot more open, a lot more live. Service was more on point. We had a couple issues. We had to call down at the desk right away. No issues. So yeah, it was a dramatic change just in a couple months, to be honest with you.
Well, I heard that Vegas is at over 100% capacity on the rooms now already. I don't know if it looked that way, if it looked like there were tons of people there, but
there was a whole lot going on when I was in Vegas. I mean, there was the big fight, Conor McGregor.
Right.
There was Garth Brooks, who played his concert at the new Raider Stadium. Ray Romano was in town. Justin Bieber was in town. There was a whole lot going on in Vegas.
Oh, did you go see the Biebs?
No. Instead, I went and saw the Patels.
Rocky?
Yeah.
And Mish?
Yeah. Who honestly, in my opinion, if Rocky ran the trade show, it would be the most happening show on earth.
Let me tell you something.
That's a fact.
Considering
I heard just his birthday party
that we got to attend, yeah, I totally can agree. It would be over the top and mega event.
Yeah, Rocky had all the elements of where you want it to be. That's where I kind of ended. I kind of would always stop by and see Saka, but then really close out the day over at Rocky's place. He had live music. It wasn't boisterous or obnoxious. It was one-man band, nice, elegant music. Had a beautiful bar, little setup, like you felt like you were in one of his bird lounges. He had comedians. He had actors coming through there. Not as a showpiece. They were just visiting his booth. It was like the happening place to be, literally.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was the happening place to be. And, if you just took his little elements and just somehow really incorporated that kind of vibe, I mean, there was nothing like even the TPE I thought was genius. During the mask thing, they had the little girls walking around as the mask patrol, all scantily dressed, the mask police or whatever it was. Just silly little things that just would have made the experiences more fun day to day to do business. It was very quiet. And there was many times throughout the show when I was talking about it, close your eyes, tell me what you hear. Nothing. Wow. I mean, literally nothing. You hear subtle murmurs and whispers, from the distance, but nothing. I get aggravated because when I walk out of my office, sometimes they forget just a subtle thing like background music, right?
You need it.
And I walk out and I say, what do you hear? You hear anything? Because to me, I hear it immediately. It sounds like a graveyard. I feel like I walked into a graveyard. Play the background music. Subtle little things.
It's uncomfortable.
So, we'll see how that goes.
At least you got a free beer.
Yeah, that was really funny. Terrence and I were having a debate. Terrence and I were debating this because Terrence made this overwhelmingly, congratulations to an awesome success post. And I kind of said, it's that kind of mentality is why we're at where we're at today, and it's not going to help the situation. And so I went to this booth on the last day, and we were kind of debating it. As we're debating it, these two people walking around the trade show floor with a cart. They got a couple ice things and a couple cases of beer in there. They're like, hey, we're from the PCA, and we want to thank you all for coming back this year. And we're just going around on the last day with 1 hour left to go in the show when 80% of the people are gone. We're just giving out complimentary beer as a way to say thank you and whatever. So I took one, and Terrence went, "You're right, Terrence. I was wrong. What an epic change. Cheers." But it really couldn't have been timed any better. It was so ironically funny. So it couldn't have been timed any better.
Well, we have a pretty packed show, so we're going to start off the show with one of our dear friends.
We got a feature spotlight feature today.
We have a feature. Yep, we have a spotlight feature
over my shoulder. Let's get it going.
So joining us once again, our dear friend, Mr. Rafael Nodal.
How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Hey, Paul, Alex. Thank you. Thank you very much. Here from beautiful South Florida today. What a beautiful day to be in South Florida. Fantastic. Or by the way, in the rest of Florida as well. So just want to
let's not alienate the Tampa people.
Absolutely. Or Orlando for that matter.
We love them.
I guess Orlando is Central Florida. Yeah, I guess that's Central Florida. Yeah. So, Rafael, we have a spotlight feature today on this newly released brand. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Louis Ray Carenas. Can you tell us, our fans, a little bit about this? This is an old brand. St. Louis Ray was before I was even in this industry, and this is a very new spin on the brand. Can you tell our listeners about the brand?
That's correct. Well, again, thank you very much for having me here. We're extremely excited about the San Luis Rey Carenas because it's going back to the DNA of the brand, right? This is an amazing brand born in Cuba and with a lot of history. So we introduced the new San Luis Rey Carenas. Carena means was the name given to use for the Port of Havanas. And the Port of Havanas in Cuba, before it became the Port of Havana, was called Carenas. And because all the boats from Spain was going there, and Carenas is where they clean and they fix the boats. And it's exciting because all these boats obviously went to Spain, to Seville, with the tobacco from Cuba and from the rest of Latin America. So it's an amazing product. We wanted to go back to the DNA, to pay tribute to the history and the heritage of such a fantastic brand. And for this project, Abe, we team up with a small producers of tobacco, small growers in the area where we have the factory. It comes from La Flor de Copan. It's a factory in Honduras that is celebrating about, this is the 45th year of this factory. It's an amazing, beautiful factory in Santa Rosa de Copan. In this area, we team up with a small growers, and there's a history of tobacco here. They have been tobacco growing in this region for more than 200-300 years that we know of. Obviously, in the rest of Latin America, tobacco before the Spaniards came to America, tobacco was being grown. And so we team up with them, and then we use a wrapper from our good friends and the family of Plasencia. Plasencia has given us access to this amazing Claro Habano, this color, very, very like caramel, light caramel, great burning. Just got ready 93 by Cigar Aficionado, 91 by our friends at Half Wheel. So we are very excited about this new project. We're putting a lot of new projects, but this is very Cuban-esque. It has a little bit of the Cuban flavor, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it is. And I say, in this area, right? So it's surrounded by mountains, and it's very close to Guatemala and this area. And the tobacco, like I said, the history and the soil. And we use the Criollo 98. So like I say, just like coffee is been doing, we have been working with very small producer on the area. So we feel that we're helping the area, our factory with over 950 employees is the largest employer in the area, and now going to the farms. As you know, Latin America, they're going through difficult times, and this is a way to really help them in a very secure way. And we finance the operation, we teach them, we give them technical support to grow the tobacco. So not only is a great cigar, but you're really helping socially a fantastic needed area.
And the cigar comes in 3 vitolas?
It comes actually 4 vitolas. It comes in a Robusto, which is 5 by 50. It comes in a Bellicoso, which is 6 1/8 by 54. And the Toro, again, this is the one that was just rated 93. Is 6x52, and the Magnum, which is I'm smoking. I don't smoke Magnum sizes too much, but I love the idea and the flavors. Is 6x60. One of the best things in this brand, not only is a great cigar, but the price points, right? So sometimes a cigar don't have to be tremendously expensive. And listen, tobacco is expensive, the labor expensive. We're trying to help the community as well. But the Robusto, the MSRP is $825, and the biggest one, the Magnus, is $915. So fantastic price. And I think you have even some special going on today. So not only is a great cigar, a great price, and a great social program that we are doing as well.
Awesome. So just want to let all our listeners know, as part of our KMA Spotlight feature, if you want to try this magnificent cigar that Raphael's talking about, we have a code here. This weekend only, good for this weekend. You can save an additional 15% already off the discounted price at smokeinn.com using the code SLR15. Good through Sunday. So if you want to
15%, great price. In addition to the great price, this amazing saving. Thank you, Ed, for bringing, always help to bring to your consumers new flavors and new aromas, and obviously doing something great socially for the people that need it in our communities.
Thank you, Raphael. And hopefully we'll see you soon, my friend. Thanks for joining us and letting our fans know about another great new release.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Raphael. Take care.
I love that guy. He's got the video going on in the background. He's got
Absolutely.
the view outside.
He's got good vibes just coming from him all over the place. He really does.
He lives on the beach there. He showed me his view before. He's a happy man. He's got a nice sea breeze going.
Absolutely.
There's a man who's truly living his best life.
He is, and he's just so when you meet him, he's just such a humble, real gentleman. He's just a great guy, and he plays the piano super well.
Super well. He was during COVID. He was doing performances.
Yeah, he's classically trained. The guy's awesome. He's just a really cool guy. I love having him on.
No, awesome stuff. Well, that being said, Paul, let's just crank it right into our Meet Your Maker segment.
Yeah. All right. Hold on.
He wasn't ready.
I'm ready now.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
So this week we are excited to present brothers, actually, in the industry. Two gentlemen who were in the retail business for a very long time, Abe, just like yourself, and now have come out with their own cigar brand. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Billy and Gus Fakih of Artesano del Tobacco.
Good morning,
Welcome, guys, to KMA.
Good morning, Abe, Alex, and Paul, and everybody from KMA listeners. We are so happy and honored to be here with you, spending this morning and smoking some cigars with you guys.
Exactly. Good morning, Abe, Paul, and Alex. It is an honor to have us with you. Good morning for everyone in this beautiful country. From the headquarters of Artesano del Tobacco in New York. Welcome to this beautiful show. I'm having such a great time. It is the best thing to wake up Saturday and listen to this. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I hear a little accent there.
Yes, Abe.
From what I understand, you guys are brothers. Where are you guys from?
We're brothers. And we are originally from Lebanon.
We are honest as well. We are the honest brothers.
There you go. Wow.
We are Lebanese originally.
From Lebanon.
How long have you, when did you come to the United States?
Almost 35 years ago.
My father was an immigrant from Jordan, so I'm always fascinated with these stories because, typically they're great stories on what leads people to this country, and then especially people who actually find success here. Can you tell us your story and how you came to the States and what your experience first getting here and what you guys did?
Sure.
Definitely. We came very little to this country. As you know, Abe, in Lebanon, in that area, that region, there is always uncertainty. So my parents, they decided to come to America. And we came here, as I said, 35 years ago. And long story short, here we are. opportunities for education, opportunities for businesses, opportunities to become who you want. And thank God. And I also thank my parents for doing this journey for us.
Definitely. And it's, let me tell you, man, everybody knows it's the best country in the world.
My father, who visited Lebanon many times before the war broke out, literally said it was probably the jewel of the world, probably one of the most beautiful, best places to ever visit. And
That is right.
Talked about it throughout my childhood, because in my early childhood, when we used to go to Jordan, we couldn't go there. Obviously, there was a lot of fighting and it wasn't safe, and we couldn't go there. So it wasn't until much later on, when I was older and didn't get to go with them to Jordan, that my dad went back to visit. But he said it's not the same.
Exactly. It's
so,
changed.
Ab, have you never visited Lebanon? You weren't able to get the chance to go there?
In my last visits, no, I didn't, because I didn't go for about 15 years, and then right after I moved to Florida, I went for my brother's wedding, who got married over there. I am planning a trip for my kids. My oldest daughter, Petra, I want to take her to go see Petra. So we're planning on going next summer. So hopefully my wife and I might be able to get away a little bit and take a trip there and check it out. But I've never been there. So next summer, hopefully it'll be my first time.
Definitely, man. Enjoy it.
Safe trip.
So did you guys grow up? Did your parents go right to New York?
We came straight to New York, and we went to schools here, and all our business started here too. And
what did your parents do?
My dad was an accountant.
Certified accountant,
Yeah, and my mom was a housewife. Yeah, mom, the best. And my dad showed us that no matter what you do in life, you need to be true to yourself, and also be loyal to what you're trying to accomplish.
100%. And I see, Paul, you said you from New York yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually here now for the summer. I'm from Long Island, but I worked in Manhattan for many years, and spent a lot of time in Manhattan. I was just there the other day, actually.
What, are you in Long Island now?
Yeah, I'm on Long Island for the summer. We have 2 boys, so we come up for the summer.
It's so hot.
It is.
So
It's
hot
like
today in New York.
Yeah, it's been very warm.
Just to backtrack, another perfect example. New York, Long Island, its own total entity. Technically a part of New York, but Long Island is Long Island.
Hey,
Yeah,
Paul,
I mean,
I can help you with that.
I'm sure.
Each of the 5 boroughs is its own entity.
True.
Yeah, I was gonna say each of the neighborhoods in Manhattan would love to be their own. I'm sure the Upper East Side would like to say that they're not part of a lot of the island as well. But yeah, you say you're on Long Island, especially with guys like Billy and Gus that are from New York. I mean, you say I'm from Long Island. Like I wouldn't say I'm from New York.
Wow.
But
You grew up on the Upper East Side. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my first trip to New York, because I'm thinking Chicago's a big city,
right.
Not really understanding what a big city really is, right? So I'm in New York and I get lost, and I'm in one of the other boroughs. I'm trying, hey, how do I get to here? And I got no clue. Like, I'm asking, I said, this is New York City. How do you know where? I mean, you could go to anywhere in Chicago and ask somebody, hey, how do you get to this? Anybody will tell you it's this way, that way, this way.
Yeah.
Like, literally, people couldn't tell me within the city how to get to somewhere else in the city. They never even heard of it. Like, really? I mean, it took me a while.
Does it exist here?
No, they know, but they want to tell you. You have to.
Yeah, that.
It costs you money.
Well, listen,
Exactly.
listen. I thought that at first. I thought they were just being dicks and rude. And then as I asked other people, like, oh no, man, dude, they don't even go to that part of the city ever. They don't have a clue. And I just realized this city is so massive. It's like asking somebody, how do I get to another state? Where is this in another state?
Yeah, if you ask somebody in Queens how to get to somewhere, in the Bronx, they'd probably look at you cross-eyed.
That's what they did.
In all honesty.
And, meanwhile, in my head, like, this is New York. Like, it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's the same city. How do you not know?
It's a massive city, and what's funny is I was talking to Billy and Gus earlier. I was telling yesterday in our meeting, I was talking to Abe and Alex about your stores and how great they were, but not realizing later that evening I got a text from a buddy of mine that lives on the Upper East Side, and I was like, you know what? Have you been to their store? They had a store up on the Upper East Side there. How is it possible? He goes, you've been there like 6 or 8 times. So I now remember going in there, but I didn't know at the time that it was your store. I didn't make the correlation, but they had a great shop up there, and you had one on the Lower East Side as well, or Midtown.
We had one on 54 and 2nd, and one on 73rd and 1st.
Right. Okay. So I've been to the 73rd and 1st one before, and I guess the 54th and 2nd is possible as well. I mean, I worked at Tiffany and Company on 5th Avenue, so I was, and all my friends lived on the East Side, so I spent a lot of time over there. So that is a unique spot to have shops, right? I mean,
correct.
Not just the astronomical rent being in both of those two areas, but the eclectic group of people, right? So which one was first, and how did you decide where to put that first store?
Well, the first one was on the Upper East Side. Thank you for talking about them, and I bet you we know your friend if you say his name, because if he's been to those places, we bet definitely we know them. But the first one was on the Upper East Side on 70th and 1st, and then from there we moved it to 73rd between 1st and 2nd. That was the first one. And then the second one is we built that one 2007, and then that thing happened 2008 when it opened on 54th and 2nd Avenue.
Yeah.
So at the one on 54th, you probably got a lot more tourists than you would on the Upper East Side. I'm assuming.
Correct. It was more Midtown. It was also Cigar Aficionado Lounge and Cigar Aficionado Humidor. And a lot of people used to come there after the big smoke or any tobacco-related industry. Everybody used to come to that store.
The big events.
The one on 73rd was more local, more for doctors, and because there is a huge hospital next to us. And let me tell you, man, doctors love cigars. I mean, they smoke more than anybody, you know. And first, when we opened the store on 70th and 1st, it was about 600 square feet, which is a small store with a smaller humidor. The humidor was no bigger than 200 square feet. And we started in 1992. And
in the early 90s.
In the early 90s, right? And it was a very small store. And it grew. We expanded it. And we became friends with a lot of people in the industry. And then we opened the store on 54th.
54th, yes.
And the rest is history.
Now, you know, to start with, we smoked cigars since we were like young. Like I smoked cigars since I was 16, even younger. So we always fell in love with this. And before we did the store on the Upper East Side, we had businesses downtown in the village. And then the magazine came. Then they start talking more about cigars, and we start to realize, you know, this industry is huge, but you need somebody to grab that thing and move it to the front side. And this is when we decided we sold the businesses downtown and we moved up all the way where we live. And then we opened the first place on 70th and 1st. And it happened that Marvin Shanklin lived in that area. And the first person to visit the place was him when we opened it.
And we became close friends.
We became close friends. And then, long story short, from there, when we opened 2nd Avenue, this is the idea that came up with having the Cigar Aficionado Lounge and also the Humidor. And the relationship grew bigger from there.
Yeah.
Wow. When you say you were smoking from an early age, did someone in your family smoke?
My father.
Paul likes to go backwards. You see,
I'm curious.
This is why I normally like to work a timeline. I got you guys immigrated to the country, and I know your parents were accountants. I was then going to find out then what you studied, and then what made you get into cigars, and then get to the shops. Paul skips that whole segment. He goes straight to the shops. I'm like, all right, we're not going to talk about their history.
We are from New York.
I'm going to let it go. Paul skipped it. But then, no, he goes back to it after he just totally skips the timeline.
Well, they brought up New York, that I was in New York.
Yeah, that's way to go.
Once they brought up New York, Paul
took the chronological order. I'm sorry,
Alex.
I said once they started talking New York, Paul just took the show over.
Yeah,
he got excited.
I'm working a chronological order from the moment they came to this country, and Paul just now is like jumping back and forth.
All
Go
of a
ahead.
sudden, then Intercourse Pennsylvania will be shoved to the sidelines.
Right.
So, gentlemen, your parents were accountants. Your father was an accountant. Your mother did a wonderful job of raising you guys.
Thank you.
What did you study, and what did you think you were going to do when growing up?
That's a great question, Abe, and it's amazing how things influence you to go and to this beautiful business. I went and I studied architecture, so I'm an architect by trade, and one of my mentors used to smoke cigars, and I used to smoke cigarettes at that time. I was young, and he influenced me to try to quit cigarettes and smoke cigars. So my first cigar was Punch Rothschilds, and I loved it. It was from Honduras, and it was the one that I was able to afford at that time. And they used to come 50 in a box. I don't know if they still exist, with no band, nothing on it. And I used to smoke them. They were delicious, man. Great flavor, smooth, creamy, all these stuff. So that was my first everyday cigar, was the Punch Rothschilds.
I made that guess because that was probably back in the day when Villazon had the number one selling SKU they had.
Correct.
Bobby Orr was a customer of ours, and he used to come in and buy a box every couple of weeks.
50.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yes.
They used to do Punch Rothschilds and also Hoy de
Monterey Rothschilds as well. They were very good. On cellophane, you open the box and you smell it, and the smell is unbelievable. It's like sweet nectar.
I mean, they were great.
Yeah. They were very good, very good.
It was both out of the Villazon factory at the time, and we used to always put them right next to each other, and which was kind of tough because sometimes at the register before they had bans, you didn't know which cigar was which.
Yeah,
slight color variation, and then eventually they got banded and cellared, but probably one of the best selling SKUs ever out of that factory.
That is true. And what I did myself, I started when I was 13. The first cigar I stole from my father's humidor.
Wow. Okay.
And it was a Monte Cristo number 2 from Cuba.
Wow.
There they allowed to smoke Cubans, but not. So I smoked that cigar and I started to inhale, thinking that like a cigarette. When you steal something, you want to do it so fast, so no one will catch you. I was smoking it and inhaling it. I turned blue in less than 3 minutes. And all of a sudden, I start sweating. That was my first experience. And ever since, I fell in love with this trade. And today, here I am, guys.
So when did you guys make the decision? Because look, I got a similar story. My dad was an immigrant. My dad was a grocery store owner. I grew up working with him, but never thought I would end up being in it. I actually started my own graphics company. After school, I was doing graphics and stuff, and literally got thrown into the family business, kind of not by my own choice. It just kind of happened. Was there for a few years, and then got into cigars heavily. Was looking to do a cigar shop in Florida, in Chicago, actually. And came here on vacation and ended up staying here. Long story short, that's how I got catapulted in the cigar business. Just came here on a vacation, kind of never went back. At what point did you guys, you doing architecture, at what point did you guys say that this is a business we're getting into, and how did that happen?
You see, when we came to this country, it was like in the 80s, 82, 83, and like we still under the age of 20, but then, you do what you have to do. You go to school, you go to college, and then all of a sudden, my father was retired anyway. So when we came here, so the first business, he was the one behind. I'm not going to say that we built it ourselves from nothing. He was the help from the beginning, and he trusted us to do that. He smoked cigars. We were smokers as well. And as I said, the first business we had downtown the village, it was like a variety of different things because the village is a tourist area. And you put anything.
It was like a New York paraphernalia, basically.
Yeah,
like
and then we had an area where also we carried cigars in it, like a
small case
filled with cigars. And we smoked cigars from that time. And as I said earlier, this is when we decide to sell the business and go uptown. when we found out that this is something that could go big?
Actually, when Cigar Aficionado came up with their first issue, and when we started reading more about it, we realized that this is the time to go open a cigar store with a lounge. So the store that we opened was about 600 square feet, literally.
Wow.
3 seats in it, and every night we used to have about 50 to 100 people inside that store and outside smoking cigars.
Huge big place area.
I mean, I don't remember if you remember, Abe, if it was so hard to get cigars at that time. People, like, if they want humidor, they need to put their name on a waiting list to get a humidor. We used to get orders of humidors. By the time they came to the store, they were sold out.
The Monica Lewinsky story came after as well, and this would explode the whole industry. And anything you put on the shelf, whether it's Phillies, Whiteout, if you know guys what are those back then, it's for like, and you sell them crazy.
Really?
Nothing was.
Your timing was impeccable, because many people will claim that Cigar Aficionado was the spark that began the cigar boom. And I was a consumer at that time mostly, and I just remember you couldn't find any normal brand on the shelves.
Correct.
Fuentes, there were no Macanudos, and that's when a lot of these brands that you don't really see anymore today came out of the woodworks. Havana Gold, Huracanos, Mi Cubano, a slew of brands that it just, when the shortages happened and all these legitimate brands disappeared, people optimized these smaller factories, people started little companies, and they got product quickly on store shelves, and it lasted a couple of years. But then as soon as the legitimate brands were able to catch up and whatever, most of those brands fell to the wayside. Very few made it after the boom. And then when I got in, it was kind of, the end boom was kind of over, but the after effects were there. Like, you couldn't get opened up an account. I mean, thank God my mentor, Sal Fontana, who had like 30 years in the industry, hand walked me to many manufacturers. But like, if you wanted to order Ashton cigars, like, they literally told people on the showroom floor that, well, you have to start out by buying our accessories. So buy our buy our leather cases, buy so-and-so, and eventually we will open you up to get cigars. Now they'll sell a streetwalker down at the local corner grocery store and put their cigars in it these days. I mean, the whole times have changed, right? I mean, they'll sell anybody now, but yeah, I opened up, and I was kind of got in the business in the post boom where it was hard to get open unless you really knew somebody.
That's true. It's exactly, we lived it, Abe. We knew exactly what you're talking about. It was so hard. Like, we knew the whole brands and everything from Villazon to which is Altanis now. You can't get anything. You cannot get anything with accounts open or not. As well, I'll give you other stories about how you would open an account with Fuentes or Padron.
Fuente didn't open an account for like a decade. They literally had signs on the trade show, "We are not opening up new accounts."
Yes,
true.
Yeah.
Wow.
They would go to the trade show with a big sign says, "We are currently not accepting, opening any new accounts."
Yeah,
this was on the trade show floor. It was mind-boggling.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even though like we had accounts with them, there is no cigars. Even Fuente used to send like maybe 5-6 boxes, and those gone like in.
Remember, Abe, the Chateau, a box of Chateau, guys. We used to sell it for like $19 retail. A box.
Yes,
right.
Box of punch. We used to sell it for like $30. It was under like 25 cents a stick.
Hemingways were like $3-4. $5. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
That was good.
Oh, that's great.
When you smoke like 7-8 cigars a day, that's good.
Sal, my mentor Sal Fontana, one of his great quotes was, he had like a lot of predictions in his career, and one of them was, when the price of a cigar went over $1, it'd be the end of the industry.
Wow. Yeah.
The other one was, I think he had like, there's a great video they did before he passed away, and he had like, I think 3 great predictions in his career. That was one of them. The other one said the Cuban embargo wouldn't last a year.
Wow.
And then there was another one. I got to look it up.
So wrong.
He needs to change his. Yeah, go ahead.
So you guys were having all these issues just getting cigars, not to mention in the 80s in New York, was it difficult to have a cigar shop there, or not as difficult as it is today?
No, it was
Very easy.
It was easy. There were no taxes on it. It was only sales tax. And then when Giuliani came in, they implemented the 20% tax. This is how it started. But before, it was only sales tax. There were no taxes on it.
It wasn't a big industry. It was not. You know, the only shop that was there is on 6th Avenue. What was the name of the place?
De La Concha.
De La Concha. There was
Walter X.
a few places only, and it wasn't that big. And then, as I said, when the whole thing started to boom, is when the magazine came up to the surface, and then all of a sudden they start changing the laws. They started making it harder to smoke indoors. They started making it harder with taxes and how to bring tobacco. You used to be able to bring tobacco with no taxes at all. And all of a sudden they moved it from 0 to 20%, then to 40%, then to 75%.
Like all the states now, they tax it, except I think Florida and PA.
Yeah, I think it's the only ones left.
Yeah.
That's the upside and the downside of a boom, right?
That is correct.
The industry, but we weren't under the radar anymore. And now everybody's attention was on our industry, and every section of the government wanted their piece of the pie and their little take. And, you know, that's unfortunately the downside of it. So that being said, we're going to take a short break, guys. Please don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to get back with the brothers and really talk about their brand and how they got into that, the Viva La Vida cigars. And we have the Scoop with Coop up ahead. We have a special edition of Tail of the Tape today. So I know I'm going to send you my pick during the break. I got you.
Oh, you have mine, right?
And Cigar Senior Simon. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a fun hour too. Stick around. Keep it lit.
Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale. Without this rich and profound history, it only makes sense to showcase one of their popular cigars after Mr. Henry Clay. Receiving a top 10 spot in Cigar Aficionado's top 25 cigars, the Henry Clay Warhawk has top-notch construction while boasting with complex flavors. Cloaked in an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper with a Connecticut broadleaf binder and a Nicaraguan Criollo fillers, this medium to full-body smoke has flavor notes of toasted almonds, earth, and a peppery finish that pairs nicely with a lemonade. It is available in 3 sizes, Corona, Robusto, and Toro. If you're looking for a cigar that has an abundance of flavor and history, then this 95-rated Henry Clay Warhawk is the cigar for you.
Oh, hi. Staying at my brother-in-law's house. Me, the kids, and the dogs. But, you know, it doesn't really matter where you are or to each his own with whatever you're surrounded by, because you can enjoy your favorite things wherever you go, like Bonner Private Wines. Now, this Malbec is an Argentinian Malbec that's almost as rare as this common Eider right here. You see, it's grown in a vineyard that is 8,950 feet in the air. It's part of a sampler pack that Bonner Private Wines offers KMA listeners. All you have to do is go to KMAWines.com and you can get a 3-bottle sampler for a great price. We give you a discount from KMA, and they'll also discount the shipping for you. So check it out, KMAWines.com, and before the show starts up again, I'm going to talk to this very rare, beautiful specimen of a bird and finish up my Bonner Private Wines. Keep it lit.
All right, everyone.
Good job, Paul. Is that your bedroom?
That's a great commercial, man.
That was the bedroom?
The dog wanted to take
that.
Hey, Alex, help us here.
That's my brother-in-law's basement, actually. But I see you liked it because you didn't see it last week. Abe, I'm sure, is ready to yell at me because I didn't make a new commercial this week.
To yell at you would mean that I expected you to make a new commercial.
That's true.
I had zero expectations that you would have made a new commercial.
Listen, I was gonna make one when I was in Lancaster, but it's a dry county.
Listen, man.
You can't
all
get
I
booze.
know is if Paul keeps playing that commercial, eventually Pete is going to come knocking at his door with a can of red paint, to dump at him.
So,
Wait,
Ruben is saying that your commercial is just disturbing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's not the real Alan Rubin, though, I don't think. Or maybe it is. No, it's not the real Alan Rubin.
No, that's the fake Alan Rubin.
That's the other
There is
Rubin.
real and fake, so we only talk to the real Alan Rubin.
Yes.
Regards to Alan Rubin.
They're all both gay. Great.
All right. If you're just joining us for hour two, our fans out there, we have Billy and Gus Fakih
Yes.
of Artesano del Tobacco Cigars, makers of Viva La Vida. So the production of the cigar and the concept of the cigar came after you made the sale of your business, Cigarin, at the time, correct?
No.
So this started while you were still with Cigarin.
Yes.
All right. So tell us how this project started.
Correct. So AJ came to our store selling San Lutano. So AJ had a partner named Alex, and he came to us with samples of cigars.
Yeah.
So we tried them. We didn't know about the brand or the story about AJ and all these stuff. And he introduced the cigar for us. We tried it. We fell in love with that tobacco. It was brand new. It was a flavor that we never had before. And we started doing business with them. And then we launched from our store the New World, Connecticut, when they came out with it. And the idea of Viva La Vida started from 2012.
Exactly.
We send the concept to AJ, what we are looking for, the flavor, the taste, and the sizes and all these stuff. So during that time, AJ came back to us and he said, what you guys are looking for, the tobacco I don't have right now, I'm aging it, it's going to take time. Said, okay, no problem. And then from 2012 to 2015, when we sold the stores, the cigars weren't ready yet. And by the time it came out, actually 2018, AJ called us and he said, the cigars are ready. We could start the production. So we went, we sat down, we started blending and working on it. And for everybody to know, AJ works the opposite of a lot of different companies. He started with aging the different parts of the cigar individually. So the wrappers, he aged for years, the binders, the fillers, and then once the tobacco is ready to be rolled, he will roll it, and it's ready right then and there to be sold. So other companies, they do the opposite. They roll the cigar, they age it, and their concept behind it, they want the tobacco to be more infused together. So it take a year, 5 years, whatever the case. But with AJ, he ages the tobacco beforehand. So in his mind, he start with a great ingredients to make the cigar. And so when he did the Viva La Vida, it was 2018 when we started
blended the whole thing. As well, let me add this, how did we come with this particular blend? How did we come out with the idea? Well, Abe, you could actually relate to the fact that you own retail shops and you are on the floor with all your clients 24/7 almost. They trust you because you tell them exactly, this is the honest Abe, and you are honest, you tell them the truth. You don't have to spend $100 to get a great smoke. You could spend $8 and you will enjoy it. And they love that.
And they trust that.
So we learned a lot of things, great deal of tobacco from our clients. We interacted with them on a daily basis, the palate, we did a lot of classes, we studied a lot of things about tobacco. Long story short, I don't want to go into real deep details. This is when we decide how we're going to have a blend that will be popular among the majority of the cigar smokers. So we start doing the studies with palates and the portion of the population who smoke strong versus medium versus light versus sweet, all that kind of stuff. Connecticut, Maduro, natural. So we learned a lot, and we used it with
creating this blend,
creating the Viva La Vida.
Yep.
And of course, we went with AJ,
who's a master.
AJ is one of the best out there.
AJ is a master of manipulating the tobacco. From the same leaves, he could create 5 to 10 different flavors, and it's the same. Filler, binder, wrapper, it's the same. And yet, he has the technique by fermenting the tobacco, he tweak it a little bit. The cigar will taste maybe 70% different than the original one. And
I could invite everyone to try it.
Yeah.
Like the 5-6 blends that we 5-6 sizes that we have with Viva La Vida, you will smoke the Torpedo and then you smoke the Jester, and you will see it's the same tobacco, but it's aged differently, and you will see the difference.
Different.
The fermentation process is different, longer, shorter, and it is amazing how someone could do this from the same tobacco.
Yeah,
it's amazing, guys.
And that's the beauty of working with AJ. He is also great of giving you the best tobacco he has if he plan to work with you. And he's honest, he's humble, he's passionate about his work, and he feel that his name, if he made the cigar for his company or for Altadis or for Artesano del Tobacco or for any company,
stands behind it. It's 100%.
He gives the best tobacco either to anybody that comes and work with him.
And no doubt, like there's a lot of guys in the industry, they are the same. And as I said, we went with AJ. We love doing things with AJ. They trust us. We trust them. And here we have it, guys. This is the proof. The proof in the pudding is...
It took from 2012.
Yeah.
And by 2019, when we released it in the
I could
States,
smoke it 5 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon, and I'm so happy. And this is Viva La Vida. I'm not doing here an advertisement. It's a great cigar. You agree with me, guys?
There's a lot of people saying it's a great cigar. It's in our comments. Who is the brainchild? Who came up with the name?
We started with the Viva La Vida. Like every time we smoke cigars, right? When we have birthdays or somebody graduation or celebrating any kind of successful thing in our life, right? So we are telling people, like, enjoy your life every day that you went to work or you did what you have to do. You achieve. Just take a cigar and smoke it. It doesn't have to be Viva La Vida. So the name came from there. To enjoy life, enjoy what you did today, not yesterday, not tomorrow. It's today. Just enjoy it. You did what you can. Don't worry about stuff that you cannot change in your life, because things happen for a reason, and it's the best way to enjoy it is just to smoke a cigar and chill and relax. And that's the beauty about it. It's a piece of art. Cigars are art that a lot of people could still afford to own. And it's made by hand. It's tremendous.
Let me say this one as well, guys. Like, if you look at our friend Rafael Nadal, right, and look at the name, the Aging Room. Just go deep into the Aging Room, and if you smoke in cigars, what do you think? I mean, this is also a genius. The Aging Room. That cigar is so unbelievable, and also the name. You could take it and look into aging wine, aging tobacco. So that's also the idea, is to come with a brand, to come with something that will catch your eye as a consumer, catch your brain, and then you look and you say, you know what, Viva La Vida, what's that all about? So as my brother was saying, it's something to celebrate anything you did during that day or during that year. Celebrate it with fun. And who will make you happy and make you laugh like a clown in a good way, right? So that's exactly the whole simple idea behind it.
We love art. we always try to support artists, young artists, and few of the ladies that used to work in our shops, they were just graduated from college and they were artists. And one of them was the lady that she designed and she drew the jester on the band.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just going to say, you guys really did a great job on the band as well. It really stands out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, very.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, she was just graduated from college.
She was
and-
18, 19 years old. Right?
No, 22. 22. And she came and we believed in her. And just to support her, we came and we told her, listen, in our store, we have about 400 square feet of empty space in the walls to come and do a mural if she knows. And she did. And it took her 6 months. She went and she took pictures of the customers. And she used to go home, sit and draw them.
Implemented it.
And if you look at the Cigar Inn mural online, you could see all these figures of people used to come and smoke
Clients,
at the cigar store. So what we did, we invited the mayor of New York, which was Rudy Giuliani, to come and unveil it.
Unveil the art.
The art. And we brought her in, and to her, it's like, oh my God, I'm meeting, not only I did this,
Right.
to all these clients, I am the mayor of New York is gonna come and shake my hand. She was so excited, and mayor came and he unveiled it, and the look on the clients' faces, they were like, "Oh my God, that's me! Wow!" I mean, they were in heaven. And
Did
to
you-
us,
that is cool.
it was great.
Did you invite Giuliani before or after he imposed the 20%
He
tax?
was a client. He was there. Yeah. Hey, you funny, man.
I'm just curious. Was it before
I
or
know.
after? Look, Alex will tell you. I've known this for years. I've employed multiple graphic designers and artists in our company over the years. You could be a good artist. You could be a great artist. Designing a cigar band is a different
Correct.
form of art, man. There are guys who are great artists and they can't make a cigar band for the life of them. It's just there's components and facets of it that just doesn't translate always to every artist to understand it, you know. So really, I mean, kudos to her. She did really a phenomenal job on the band.
Thank you.
Because it's not just being a good artist to make a cigar band. I mean, that's a fact. It's
Correct.
a kind of
Absolutely. Yeah, you're working with a limited canvas. You got to take into account the way it's going to fold over. You know, it's not just like a big, rectangle you have to do whatever you want on. I mean, it's an art.
Things too detailed, otherwise they won't show. I mean, there's a lot to it, and it takes a really special kind of person to make a cigar band. So your cigars were ready in 2018. At this point, you were out of the business, correct?
Correct.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you because, I had an opportunity 5 years ago, and I you all think about it, and, I didn't sell my company. I'm glad I didn't today. What was that process like? Were you guys looking to sell? Was it a planned exit? Was it unexpected? Did you struggle with the idea?
No, Abe, that was not the case. The place was not up for sale. We were approached, and this is exactly what happened. And then it's behind now, and everyone knows. But we did not put the places for sale.
Yeah, it wasn't for sale.
Was it a hard decision for you to make? Did you guys struggle, or were you guys ready to get out at the time?
The idea was not like there was no struggling. There was no idea to get out. There was none of that stuff. We were enjoying life. And as you see, this is one of the business that I love the most.
We love retail.
And
love retail.
Exactly. Yeah. So the opportunity came. We've been asked, and we have been approached. And then the right thing happened. And he said, you know what? Everything and anything is for sale if the price is right. And here we go.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that since you had started this when you owned the stores, it would be a lot easier to bring on a brand where when you already had at least your own vehicle to sell it. So when this happened in 2018, what were your process? Did you guys go with independent brokers? How were you going to get this brand from a couple brothers who had a cigar shop? How were you going to get it out there? Because it seems to have gotten out there very well.
Yes. So this is an amazing question, Abe. Thank you for bringing it up. Yes, it is much easier if you have a store and you bring a brand, try to sell it at the store. But what we did is we didn't have the store. So we were going from store to store, telling them that we are starting a new business. It's Viva la Vida, and they smoke it, they enjoy it. Some stores take it. Some store, they say it's not for me. I have no space for it, or they love it. We want to do an event and stuff like that. And we started talking more about it on social media, on cigar lounges. And to tell you the truth, man, because our attention and AJ attention was to bring the best cigar we can, it translated to the clients, and they saw it when they smoked it. They appreciated the hard work that AJ and his team did to it.
That's true.
And that's why you see a lot of people were talking about it.
But also what Abe said, the tools, when you have the place and the spot,
Yep.
it will make it easier. That is correct, Abe. And just to add this as well, when you in the industry for close to 28 years, day in, day out, in that industry, in that shop, in that business, people knows about you already. The name is out there. So it was easier for us to talk about it and present it to other shops who did business with us, to other industry who did business with us. So that was also, Abe, that was also a push for the brand to go out there and people to realize where it came from. So that was also another thing that helped. It is very hard to start a brand if you're not known in the industry.
Exactly.
So we were able to,
For a small company too, you guys also received a 94 rating
Correct.
from Cigar Aficionado, which is no small task, and was in the top 25.
yeah.
Correct.
20, which really that has to help immensely.
100%.
It changed things between Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Snob, Cigar Journal. All of them last year, they had some kind of Viva la Vida in their top 20. And we are grateful for that because to tell you and let everybody know, we do not have the capital to invest in advertisement with them, and yet they recognize it, they review it, they show it to everybody, even though we do not advertise with any of them,
magazines.
right?
That's right, yeah.
And hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. But it comes to show that it's not only about money. That those magazines they do
trust
their work.
They believe in you.
And another thing, when we did with AJ, we go back to what my dad taught us, that no matter what you do, you need to be loyal all the time. And from day one, we celebrated the maker of this cigar, which is AJ. And we tell everybody that he's the one who blended it, he's the one who created it.
Definitely.
And because we are proud of this relationship with AJ Fernandez company.
Wow. So you have, as a retailer, you have an interesting rule, which as a fellow, as a fellow previous retailer, I don't agree with. So I'm curious about it. You have a rule that your cigar cannot be sold online.
That is correct.
Now, I just want to explain, just interesting, curious, because I'm going to tell you, historically, I've never seen that work toward a cigar's advantage. If you look at most of the cigars that are launched that way, and I could just tell you two off the top of my head, Fuente Magnum Rosado, can't buy online. And I believe it affects its ability to get out there. I think it's not the most sought after line. And literally, the Magnum Rosado line is one of my favorite. JFR from Aganorsa was that way. The JFR stands for just for retailers. and now you could sell it online, because as a retailer, I believe limiting how to sell a product always hurts the brand and the retailer's ability to sell the brand. There's a lot of people that are nowhere near. Look, people forget, when you talk about quality retailers, there's probably 1,500, 2,000 in the whole country.
Yeah.
Okay. There's more convenience stores on Manhattan than that. So, there's not accessibility for many aficionados to go to a retail store. And then the other side of it is that when they can't find it, what they're doing then is just calling the store that carries it, and they're still shipping it out. So it doesn't really stop the process, make it more inconvenient for both the retailer and the consumer. So as fellow previous retailers, I'm just curious about that thought process and how you feel that's done for the brand, because you seem to be experiencing success regardless, and it seems to be working for you, while historically I've seen that not work well for many brands.
You see, Abe, first to start with, thanking everyone who support Viva La Vida and supporting us and believing in us and in the brand, and they buy it and they enjoy it and they smoke it. We do thank them from the bottom of the heart. To answer that question is, we came from retail business. We were retailers. So we know the exact hard time for every retailer who's out there who opened the shop 24/7, taxes, laws, regulations, losses, gains, everything that you could imagine. And we said, you know what? Since we came from this industry, we know how hard it is. It is our gratitude. It's our thank you for those retailers for carrying the line. So to help them further, we said, look, this brand is only going to be brick and mortar. It is hard. People tell you, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Why? You could sell loads and trucks loads of cigars if you go online. And we said, look, we know that. We know the whole program. But unfortunately, it is not good for the people who support me now. And that's how we decided to do this.
It's all, again, back to loyalty. We always emphasize on that. It's the cigar store trusted us, gave us a space in their humidor, and showcased the brand. And we believe no matter how good the cigar is, no matter it's the best cigar, if the cigar store owner or the managers or those people who work at those stores, they do not tell their clients about it, it's going to sit, collect dust. So they're doing their job of telling about Viva or AJ or any other cigar store, brand. The least we could do is to come and support them by making it hard to sell it online. And yes, you're 100% correct. It hurt financially us, but satisfying. It is really satisfying that we go to cigar store and we don't hear.
I could buy this Viva La Vida online for $6. Why are you selling it for 12, for example?
Or I could buy more from you, but X, Y, and Z online, they're selling it 15-20% less.
Well, I agree with that argument.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I mean, look, it's pretty much come standard industry practice for a lot of successful brands to have MAP pricing, minimum advertised price, which for the most part is adhered to most of the time. So, I agree with that. I don't believe it's good for a brand when some guy buys your brand, devalues it, sells it out cheap. But if the price is controlled, I believe that, well, look, I just believe that the free market's better for not just the consumers, but for you as a manufacturer. I mean, the fact that you acknowledge that this decision probably makes you sell less cigars a year, that's a testament to you guys. I mean, I commend it because, I believe, and it seems like you're agreeing with me, that if you made it more readily available, because it's about availability, it makes the brand harder to obtain. And that has to affect you guys, and you guys still live with this philosophy. So kudos to you. I just want to say hi to Rick Long. Rick, hello from Buffalo, from rainy Buffalo. And Mark, The Magnum R is not available online. That's what I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It's one of those brands that's not available online, and I believe it hurts that line. A lot of people are not exposed to it. They don't get a chance to see it unless you happen to walk in a brick and mortar store and try it. And it's one of my favorite lines from Fuente. So
Fuente.
yeah, I haven't seen this formula work well. It seems to be working phenomenal for you guys. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, I can respect the decision for sure.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, guys. It is a decision that we made, and we are standing behind it because we see the love and the support from the other side, which is all the retailers, and they appreciate that. They don't have to worry about someone walking in and buying a Viva La Vida from their like shelves on the humidor and saying, "Wow, guys, this is $10.95 or like this is $11.50, but I could buy it online for this." So, you go tell them, okay, buy it online and smoke it online. This is how we used to tell people, like you carry all kinds of cigars. And then they start like, when we were in retail, in the business, they used to come and say the same thing. And that idea stuck, that noise stuck in our brain. And we said, when we sat and we decided what to do with the brand, when we were like doing the plans for launching the thing, that was one of the major idea in our head. It has to be brick and mortar, and people appreciate that.
Another thing also, we are not stopping on Viva La Vida. Viva La Vida is the door to new brands that we are working on, and Viva La Vida will stay a brick and mortar, and the other brands that it's gonna be open to,
it's gonna be everywhere. Yeah.
It's going to be open all over the place, and online and brick and mortar stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Abe, you muted yourself.
You hit the button.
The button.
I was in the middle of replying to Mark Vanderslight about the
cigar page.
Yeah.
Magnum R online.
I didn't want to get into online, so I just replied there. So, do we have in the wings?
Coop is in the wings, but we also have the Avo question.
Oh, God, yeah. I got a little sidetracked with Mark there on a tangent. So, gentlemen, we have a question every week. It's our As the Record Spins segment, sponsored by Avo Cigars. Our good friend over there, Eddie Guerra, has a special question just for you.
Excellent.
All right, gentlemen, here's a question Eddie Guerra posed specifically for you guys. What do you believe has been your greatest strength? Now, the question says in the cigar business, but I don't know if it'll be the same one as a retailer or as a manufacturer. That'll be interesting to hear.
Let me start, Abe. As I said, I always use the knowledge that we gained, we picked from being retailers for all those years. That helped us, molded us, made us much better business owners, that we were able to interact with our clients, and we looked at each and every one the same across the board. So that taught me, and of course taught my brother, how to respect and accept everyone and everybody in our places, in our hearts. We never looked differently on a different person, different color, whatnot. They all, for us, were family, then friends. That's why people came to us from all over the place, from every state, and we respected that, and we thanked them for that. We used this also in being wholesalers now and manufacturing the cigars. We deal with all those clients who carry the cigar in the same way.
Exactly. And it showed us also that service, the strength in service and in honesty and integrity in your job goes above and beyond what you are trying to accomplish. And from day one, we felt that making a cigar, it wasn't based on our taste. It was based on a lot of people's taste. So Viva La Vida is not based on what I might look for or Gus's might look for. It is made for everybody. And we don't come, we give it its own time. So as you know, from Viva La Vida has been in the market from 2019. We are in 2021. We did not bring any brand new brand yet because we feel that Viva La Vida need this time so everybody enjoy it and respect it.
And appreciate it more and more.
And soon we're gonna come up with a new brand.
Nice.
Yeah.
You did it again, Abe.
Things hitting it. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll have you guys on again when that brand is released. I mean, it seems like we both have a lot of very similar business philosophies. And we got a question from none other than Casey Aldomani.
Casey,
what do you guys do for fun outside of cigars?
I love to travel. Thank you for the question as well, Casey. I love to travel. I like the family kind of thing. I travel with my family, go different places. That's my enjoyment. I love my kids. That's the kind of, there's no craziness. I was crazy when I was much younger. I look back on my own and I am so happy with what I did. And I enjoy every minute. But yes, a normal, happy life. This is me, simple.
Yes, same thing here with the family. I love to play football, me and my son. And
football, I'm sure you're speaking about soccer.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify for a lot of our listeners.
Dave understands it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew right away what you were talking about. I just needed to clarify that.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you. I love playing soccer. So any moment I'm back in with my family. The next day we plan, me and my kids, to go to the park and play some.
Well, here, Paul, Italy won. They kicked England. You've seen that, right?
Oh, don't get Alex started. Don't get Alex started. But I watched the match. I was very pleased with the outcome.
Sorry, Alex.
Paul's about as Italian as apple pie.
Yeah.
I concur with that comment.
That was a good game.
It was a good game.
One of the highlights, in my opinion, of the show was one of the newer companies had a big screen TV and they played the game.
The game, right?
So everybody around that booth you could hear them cheering and yelling, and that was kind of like one of the floor highlights as far as I was concerned. It was an exciting part of the trade show.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I saw that.
Guys, I want to tell you something. I want to first to congratulate you guys, me and Gus, for the great smoke that you did last year.
Thank you.
It was unique. It was refreshing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Let me tell you, man, 2020 was a tough year on everybody. People were looking for a tool or something to bring them back.
Happy. You guys did it.
You guys did a great, phenomenal job with the great smoke. I could see it on people lounges. They used to put it on big screen, watching you guys, Michael Herklotz, Kim Schmokini. You guys did phenomenal job.
I was amazed. I was so mesmerized with it as well. I was so happy.
It was like the Oscars. They were. I'm telling you, you hit it out of the park, man. And I think you should keep doing it. Hopefully, this is your plan.
Well, first off, let me say thank you very much. That was a big brainchild that actually happened right here in this room with Alex and a lot of my team to figure out how we could, after 15 years, not do the event, but do it in a way that would still be exciting and translate to people at home and not just be a boring presentation. And everybody put a lot of hard work and it paid off. We're still touched by what we pulled off and how many people we reached, and because of that, and the multitude of emails we got, because we had a lot of people who emailed us, who reached out to us and said, you know, we always hear about these types of events, but we can't afford to take time off of work. We can't afford to fly out of town. They've never been able to participate in something like this. So going into 2022, which we'll start, you know, we've really kind of already started working on, and it'll start hitting the ground hard in the next 30 or 40 days. We're going to do it both. We're going to go back to the in-person event, but incorporate a virtual segment so people from all over the country can still participate if they want to. Michael Herklotz will be coming back to host the virtual side of it, and Kim will be there. And we're going to have some other surprise things going on. But, you know, we don't like to rest on our laurels. We just keep the foot on the accelerator and keep finding ways to innovate and move forward. And we think this will be another innovative year for us with the great smoke. So we're excited about it. So
can't wait.
Hopefully we'll get you guys maybe involved. We'll reach out to you guys soon.
Definitely. We are more than interested. It will be our honor.
Great. Awesome stuff. So that being said, now is Coop ready in the wings? Let's bring our man on.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Coop.
Got drapes behind him. That's a new backdrop.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the same one I've used for the past few weeks.
Is it? All right.
I think he's just got the drapes
It's just a
pulled.
different
Probably.
angle.
Different
Yeah.
angle. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's all it is, a different angle, so try not to get too much of the sun there.
So, Coop, what's up? Back from Vegas.
Back from Vegas. I got back Thursday.
Coop was busting hard. I barely saw Coop. I mean, literally, I saw him moving a lot quickly at the show. You seem to be very, very busy this year.
We're normally always busy. The difference I had this year was a four-man team, which is the largest team I brought. And getting a dynamic with a four-man team is a lot of work, too. So we had more moving parts, even though we had more resources on the ground, if that makes sense.
Usually Coop and I will have a moment to digress or chat or whatever. I saw him at one point. I can't remember where it was. I saw him. You were with somebody, and we're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And as I turned around and looked, the man was gone. Like, literally gone. It was that bad.
That's funny. I heard you avoided him like the plague.
Well, he avoided the media house. That was the one thing. You know, we missed him at the media house.
I'm going to tell you something. We didn't make it because I'm just going to be straight up honest, man. My body at this age is not equipped to handle it. You know, when I have my buyer there and I get to lounge around and stroll around, but running around, you know, I had a manufacturer's bag, so I was cheating because I was pressed on time. So I was literally on the show floor at 8:00 those first 3 days, trying to see who would be in their booth so I could do some work before all the retailers started flooding in. So me running around from booth to booth to booth to booth for the new warehouse at almost 50 years old, my body wasn't equipped, man. We were just beat up.
Oh, Abe, look, I'm in that age range as well, and I could tell you, even being away 2 years, I was physically more exhausted than I ever was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it really was. And 117 degree heat. These were the hottest temperatures recorded in Las Vegas. Period. This was oppressive beyond belief that we had there.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Coop, you and your team, man, you did a great job. We were watching it on Facebook. You did a great, phenomenal coverage for the whole PCA.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys again.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. We still have a lot of work we're doing on the back end right now this weekend. So there's a lot more to come, which is good.
Yeah, when we get back, the work's not over. That's when the work starts, right?
That's when the work starts. Yeah. So we have a lot of we're doing a whole written piece too, which is the written piece kind of gets lost in what everyone wants to do video, and video is important. Don't get me wrong, we expanded the video, but the written piece still is our bread and butter where we get the most traffic. So there's a lot I've been working on this particular weekend on this.
Awesome. So what news do you have for us this week?
Well, you know, it was the trade show. That was really the story that happened this week. So, I know we're going to be doing a recap show, but there are a few observations I'm going to make with this right now. Abe, let me ask you a question. What would you have given a grade to this trade show? If you A to F, what would you have given it?
C.
I gave it C minus. Okay, so I think
it was average. It was average. That's all I can say. It wasn't bad. It wasn't poorly executed. There wasn't really nothing to complain about, but it was about as bland as anything could be. There was nothing to rave about.
I agree with you guys.
I was on with Dojo last night. I took a lot of crap on this when I said basically I didn't think the trade show had a good look to it. Okay, it looked cheap. And what I mean by that is we have positioned cigars for many years as a luxury product. And a lot of the booze just didn't back that up. And it had a very cheap feel to it. And that was disappointing. And I hear people trying to put a spin on it. And I understand we may have gone too extravagant with some of the booze. I totally get that. But there has to be a happy medium. That was not a good look we had at that trade show.
It wasn't a good look. It was a poor representation by many companies. I mean, the Ashton booth looked like a cafeteria.
Right, that's where I'm going with some of this stuff.
And listen, if you're going to be Ashton, and you're not going to send any of your principals, of the companies deciding not to show up, so and you don't do nothing but basically put 8-foot tables out like a picnic and sheets, why go to the show? It's just saying, let us send the minimal amount of people to write as much orders as we can and still benefit something from the show without even caring anything about it. I was really, really disappointed in that kind of mentality.
I called it the minimalist show. I think
it was the minimalist show.
That exactly.
But not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
But it was more apparent than I've ever seen before.
Right. And that's why here's a good example. I know these guys are tied in with AJ. AJ Fernandez had a much smaller booth, but guess what? It still had the feel of like an AJ Fernandez booth that I've had over the years. It was just smaller. That was kind of where I was going with that.
I don't believe any of them have to be that much bigger.
Right. Exactly.
Part of the problem of the show is it became this grossly exaggerated space that no matter what just looked empty because no matter what, it just became absurd. And a lot of people's booths were cut down. Fuente JC Newman was a completely different booth instead of that 1 mile long alley.
Street, yep.
Yeah. Very nicely done. Padron's always a class act, done nice. Steve Saka had a very engaging and inviting booth area.
And he doesn't spend a lot on that booth. He'll tell you that. That's not an expensive booth. And
no, that's
still blow it up. Yeah.
It was done nice.
Exactly.
Nice. And like a good bush needs pruning. I've said this for years. The trade show needed pruning down. It needed to get more controlled. But some people went too far and just went totally
right.
And put up a banner and a table and take whatever orders come my way.
Right. I think.
Good morning, Gus is here.
Hey, Gus.
Have you as well? Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing your experience, guys, from the show. We weren't there at the floor, but what do you think, guys, should happen? Because it's also when I hear those things, I feel a little bit disappointed and sad. But what are the steps that
we only have 15 minutes left in this show? So
yeah,
a lot of talk to do.
Yeah. I think that Scott and his team are good people, and I think they did a good job on that. They worked as hard as they could, right? I think the organization needs a PR makeover. I think they need a PR makeover. I really do.
Now I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
They worked as hard as they could. Where does that statement come from?
What do you mean? Explain that.
That's a statement. They worked as hard as they could.
This means they didn't do their work properly.
What makes you say they worked as hard as they could? I did not see hard work there.
They look. How much could they do based on the resources they had at hand? That's my point. How much could they? They had very little resources to work with this year.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Because they furloughed some of their staff members. They had one of their key people, who's the event person, on maternity leave. So I do believe that they worked hard. They were running around like crazy. But I also think that their resources were limited this year. I mean, Abe, I've seen some of these trade shows in the past. Go back to we went through some of who the executive directors and PCA or IPCA presidents for. this is a lot better. We had better access to the lead. I know the media had better access to the leadership this year. It was not perfect. I'm not ready to say this trade show gets an A by any means, but believe me, it's a lot better than it was 3 or 4 years ago for a lot of us.
I think whatever inherent problems that have existed for now almost a decade are still there. And I don't believe any of it was addressed on any level, which is the biggest problem.
They need public relations help because this organization has a bad reputation. And I'll say Scott probably inherited a lot of this. They need a better help in the event planning piece, so they need those two things. And I know it costs money, but I think that would be money well invested if they go the right direction with that.
When I left the board, I have to really look it up to see. It's got to be almost 10 years ago.
Can I just say it?
Yeah.
Can I say it? I mean, in fairness, we had limited resources.
I've had limited resources majority of my career.
Our assistant was pregnant at the time.
Fair.
And we worked it out, and we put on a show that we're still, getting thanks for. These guys had 2 years, man.
Okay, it's a fair comment, Alex. I'm not gonna argue. It's a totally fair comment.
Look, you can make excuses. Look, I'm a get the job done guy.
Right.
I could give you a million reasons excuses why you can't get the job done, but you can always get it done. When I left, they had a treasure. They had a war chest of money. So I don't know if they just mismanaged or depleted it. But when I sat on the board, money wasn't an issue. Now, how you spend it, whether you want to spend it cheaply, whether you want to invest it. But I'll just summarize this like this, Coop. I would have taken a loss this year if I had to. Hired outside help. Because this was the monumental year. This was the transition show of the loss of many of the major players. Yeah. This was the one you had to, no matter what, say, we're going over the top.
Yep.
If this thing's going to have any transition to make a change, this is the one. Not next year, not the year after. This is the one. And to boot, they had more time than ever to make a plan A, B, C, D. You got 11 people on the board. All volunteer their time. And I've been on this board. Most of their volunteer work is I show up for a monthly phone call and then don't do nothing. I was on the board when I saw that happening. This was the time, like, you had to show the world that the show is where you want to be this time of year. The show's going on, you want to be here because it's awesome and it's fun. Because no one cares about the rating of the orders.
No, they don't. Abe, I keep hearing people say we had record sales orders, right? Why were manufacturers leaving a day early or packing up on day 4 if there was all this ordering happening?
I'm going to tell you why. The majority of the work was done in 2 days.
Okay.
The majority of the work was done in 2 days and people left because there's no reason to stay, which is my point.
Right.
And if they stay, they may buy more. They may stop and go see that guy they never thought of seeing. They went, they did their business, and they left. And I can't blame them. And their solution, which once again, the path of least resistance, and we're going to get into all this on Monday. But let's make PCA specials. So inherently, what they've done is they're following the TAA model. They're going to saturate this market this year with 20 or 30 different PCA editions, of which 1 or 2 will be sought after and important. And then what's a retailer like me going to do next year? If there's a PCA only, you got to be there to get it. I'm going to pay for 1 employee to go for 1 day, order all the PCA cigars, and come home. That's what's going to happen unless you make it worthwhile. And they've never addressed it. They haven't addressed it, and the problem's bigger because it's about a decade of the same people who's had the power. People don't realize the board is 5 people basically who are on the tenure for over a decade. And if you look at the last 10 people that have been on that executive board, the other people like me, we just come and go. We bounce off 3 years, we come off. And if you look historically, you'll see a lot of people in the last 10 or 12 years have been on the board 2 or 3 times.
You need fresh blood.
It does. Yeah. And the way it's set up is inherently bad.
I agree with you on that.
It's bad. So if you don't change that, you can't solve a problem until you go to the very root of what the problem is, which is seldom ever talked about and addressed. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. You know, Abe, on the PCA exclusive thing, like, which I did not think most companies did a good job. I mean, Illusione Dion, and I'm not trying to pick on Dion. I love Dion. He had a PCA exclusive. It wasn't even on display.
It was
Like, how do you have a PCA exclusive? How do you have this series and someone's not even displaying up the product? It makes no sense.
Most of them rushed. You won't see a lot of these come out for months. Most of them felt compelled. Most of them felt rushed. I'll venture to say a very small handful that really put in a ton of effort to make a PCA exclusive. You know?
That was our comment exactly. It felt like a lot of companies checked the box. Oh, we did it, but there wasn't a lot of fanfare around it. Like Crown Heads really did put a lot of effort in Ace Prime. They put a lot of effort into it.
Handful you could tell really put effort into it.
Yeah.
But this is what they think is the savior. To me, it was just the barest minimum path of least resistance. The
minimalist show.
Yeah. So, you know, there's real inherent problems. For me, I don't think this was a successful trade show as far as it being a successful show. Did companies that go there write up a lot of business? Absolutely. Did it happen? Absolutely. And if that's your requirements for it to have been successful, great. But we all know, it's not a secret, that in the last 10 years, there's a deterioration of not just the show itself, but the psychology and the mentality behind the show and going to the show. And you would think with a whole extra, not having COVID last year was a saving grace that was not taken advantage of in any form or fashion. Sometimes you got to figure out a way to push through and make things happen. This was the year. They had a whole extra year. Extra year to come up with plan A, B, C, and D with 11 volunteers, you know, and nothing happened. Because it's not these retailers' main concern. Their main concern is their own business, which half of them are nowhere better off than they were 20 years ago. The people that have been on the executive board, and these are my friends, I'm going to alienate and probably piss off a lot of people, but these guys who are been on the executive board and the 5 people before them, so if you look at the last decade of executive board, these were guys that were at the top of the game 25 years ago. And in the last 2 decades, they're either the same organization or maybe even less of an organization they were. This is who's leading our trade show and our trade association. You chuckle, but...
No, but you and I had a conversation a couple of days ago, and there was kind of we validated this, you and I on the phone. You're not wrong on that piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to...
Yeah, that's why I'm chuckling. I understand where you were going with a lot of this stuff on the phone on Thursday.
I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off, but, you know, I feel it's my duty to call them out.
I think we all want the show to be better, Abe. This is not like we're trying...
Listen, I like going to the show. I really do.
I do too. I had fun at the show this year. I'm not saying I didn't have fun. Yeah,
it's great to honestly, in any industry, that's just like a family reunion. I just went to my wife's family reunion and can't tell me it's great to get together with your family and the people you love. And to, you know, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of retailers for the first time. It was very, very cool. I met a lot of old retailer friends. A lot of people wanted my advice, pick my brain. I was happy to talk to them. I asked them questions. It was great. But is there a need for me to go to this every year? Outside of that, no. You know?
I mean, Abe and Coop, you're both right about this. And hopefully it changes and there will be new ideas.
You know, it is
make it more exciting.
It is healthy debate, guys. What we doing right now, what we listening to you, I know it's sound and it's obviously it is a flop. It was frustrating for anyone who was on the floor there, and it is sad. But hopefully this will change. And I agree with you guys that, you know what, when you have someone being on that board for that long, it's great to have them. But at one point, we need fresh blood because there's always new ideas. There's always something better outside that will make each and every industry on its own greater if we bring those guys to lead. You need sometimes a fresh leadership.
Like what Abe did with the Big Smoke. People cannot come to him. He brought it to them.
The great smoke. We don't want to upset your friend.
Yeah, exactly. The great smoke. You know, you brought it to them, and that's the key. That's the new idea, the new blood that we're talking about.
Yeah. You know, obviously it was bad. Obviously it was bad, guys. I wasn't there, and I feel bad. But we hope things will change. And as you said, and I'm gonna hit on this, you know, you get a great opportunity after 2020, and you have the right stage to shine again. You have a full year to prepare and come like on top of the moon. But obviously it didn't happen. And you know what? I feel bad for that.
They missed, in my opinion, I don't want to beat down on this because we're going to talk more about it on Monday, but they missed an integral opportunity and a moment of time that had to be addressed. Wow. This was it. Because had it been done right, you have a lot of people talking and a lot of people who want to come next year who didn't come.
Yeah.
And now you have half the people who said, yeah, I just don't see this going anywhere. Why am I going to come next year? The complete opposite effect. And, you know, I'd like to see the show continue. It's what now, 88, 90 years? How much is it, Coop? It's got to be almost 90 years.
Yeah, 88. This was the 88.
Yeah, 88 years. You know, and really, I mean, who wants to be on the regime that say, hey, we killed the show after 88 years?
That's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Other than our little pre-show synopsis, Coop, was there anything else you wanted to discuss this week?
No, I think that, like I said, this was pretty much the week of the trade show. So now we're in the aftermath and the analysis, and we'll start seeing stuff ship. Probably stuff's already started to ship. I guess Spinoza's got that black cigar out already. So the 601 black. So you'll start seeing more of this stuff shipping over the next 6 weeks or so. But here's the one thing I'll close out with. I talked to a lot of companies, and a lot of companies are planning more fall releases than probably we've seen in the last few years. So, you know, I think there's some companies that just put some projects aside because they just couldn't get it ready for the trade show. So I think we'll have more fall releases announced than we may have in previous years.
All right. Cool. Right. Well, that being said, always check Coop out. He's going to have a lot of news at cigar-coop.com. Being that Alex was running the helm, Coop was at the trade show, we have a very special edition of Tale of the Tape this week. So season 2 has been pro wrestling, and obviously, you know, what number are you guys at now? 3?
No,
6.
Wow, doing 30. Holy cow!
Yeah.
So you got the top 6, 4 more left. They didn't have time to work on it, so as a sub highlight, the 4 of us got together, decided to do our topic of what we feel our favorite soda is. And Paul, I'm going to let you start off with it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you let me go first. So listen, we could have done like generic, but I didn't want to do generic. I want to do like that sought after, like soda, like that I enjoy. And the reason why I'm so excited, you'll see later on, but I enjoy Coca-Cola over Pepsi. I just throw that out there. But when it really comes down to it, when I want like a really good soda, I go to this guy.
Oh, dude.
Virgil's Root Beer.
No wonder you're happy you went first. We have the same one.
Yeah. I actually, and it's funny because I was toying between the ginger beer and the root beer, but the ginger beer, while you can drink it alone, you mostly mix it with stuff. But there's something about their root beer that reminds me, and I was just in Pennsylvania in Amish country, and root beer is a big thing there. And it is very similar to that like home brewed root beer taste. It's just a real good spicy taste. So
I'd like to,
that is my pick.
I might as well expand on it now since we have the same drink. So Virgil's Root Beer.
I have a picture. I have a different picture for you.
Yeah. So Virgil's Root Beer is my pick too. And look, there's root beers that have great flavor. Like I'm a fan of Boylan's as well. But this one has the right carbonation level for me. I find Boylan's a little flat, but it's really made. I don't know if you looked this up, Paul, right? but it says all natural. But I just want to read you the ingredients that goes into a Virgil root beer. I mean, it's something else. Okay, it's got a blend of natural spices, uses pure cane sugar, but includes anise from Spain. They even tell you the country of origin. Okay, licorice from France, vanilla from Madagascar, cinnamon from Sri Lanka, and cloves and nutmeg from Indonesia. Wintergreen and cassia oil from China, and pimento berry oil from Jamaica, and balsam oil from Peru. So you want to talk about a lot of specialty ingredients in a single bottle of root beer.
The best of the best.
International.
Yeah, this is it for me. Virgil root beer is always a home run for me.
No discrimination.
Wow.
International.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mine is club soda over Perrier because I don't have French things in me.
Club soda over Perrier, that's like putting water over water.
This is it. More than Perrier.
Yeah, I like Coke over Pepsi and Perrier's.
What's Coop's pick?
Let's just do a quick vote here.
Wait a minute. Can we get in here?
No, I'm just curious now. I'm going to go to you guys. But who's a Coke over Pepsi fan here?
I'm Coke.
Whatever.
I'm Pepsi.
I'm Pepsi.
Whatever.
I'm Coke.
Has more fizz to it.
All right, go ahead, Alex. Hit it up.
For me, first
Topo
I want to. Well, Topo Chico. If we were talking carbonated waters, by far, there's Topo Chico and there's everybody else. But for me, first, I want to correct Paul. While root beer may be popular in Amish country, the true soda of Amish country is my pick, Pennsylvania Dutch Birch beer. And Birch beer is, essentially a cousin of root beer, but with a little more of a mint and spice to it. It's probably the best soda that most of you have never had.
Yeah, I've never had it. I can't lie.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
I've had birch beer. I had birch beer while I was there. It's clear, right, Alex? Yeah, but I don't know if it was Pennsylvania Dutch birch beer. It was from a tap, but it's good. It's very similar to root beer.
It's similar to root beer. It's a little spicier. Has a little more mint to it, a little more kick than the average root beer.
All right, Coop, what's yours?
All right, so I went with a cream soda, and cream soda is very hard to get in the Carolinas, is what you'll find, but you can get it. But I picked Dr. Brown's cream. New York original. If you want a cream soda, and what I mean with cream soda is it tastes like it's creamy, it's smooth. I think Dr. Brown's totally knocks it out of the park. They make a lot of other good sodas. Their black cherry soda is famous. They have a celery
I love
soda.
black cherry.
Yeah. I almost picked the black cherry for theirs as well because it's very well known. They do a root beer, but I would not put it in the root beers that you guys had, so I'm glad I didn't pick the root beer. But their cream soda, I think, is the one that stands head and shoulders.
Wow, it's New York. That is New York, Coop. Yes,
absolutely.
There's a bottle of it here on my parents' counter. When I came in last night, I put the boys to bed, and Coop sent me a text with this picture. I was like, "Holy shit!" I sent them a picture of the bottle.
I was like, that was funny. I was like, yeah.
You can't go to any legitimate Jewish delicatessen without seeing Dr. Brown. So
Dr. Brown, it is really good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's it for Tail of Tape. We'll be back next week, continuing with our Season 2 edition of Pro Wrestlers. And now, as in our typical closing every week on KMA Talk Radio, it's time to see who belongs in a cigar insane asylum.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum,
Did you know I'm utterly insane? We all go a little mad sometimes.
where logic and reason cease to exist.
Okay, we have an interesting one this week. A California correction officer, female, was convicted of having sex with an inmate in full view of the other prisoners.
Wow.
Tina Gonzalez, 27. Paul, you got a picture of this?
I do, but it's not formatting properly. I have to save it a different way. I have it all. It's just not loaded up. I'll get it.
Just discovered that now?
Yeah, because I didn't upload it before.
Okay, so Tina Gonzalez, and we'll pop a picture up. It's by no means, bad to look at. Admitted to the crimes. Her attorney, Martin Tlisnik, claimed that her marriage was falling apart when she committed these acts. A great reason. That makes it perfectly okay. It was never her intention to bring any harm or danger to the employees in the jail or anyone else in the jail, said her lawyer. This is the correction officer, ladies and gentlemen.
Dear Lord.
Yes.
Not at all.
In addition to sex, Gonzalez reportedly gave the inmate, the one that she was having an affair with, razor blades and a cell phone. She also tipped off her lover to scheduled cell phone searches.
Well, you got to take care of your boo.
Yeah, she was taking care of her boo, all right. Cutting a hole in your pants. Cutting a hole in your pants to make it easier to have sex with an inmate and having intercourse in full view of 11 other inmates is something only a depraved mind could come up with, Fresno County Assistant Sheriff Steve McComas said. And to boot, Gonzalez continued to maintain contact with her inmate for over a year after she was caught, according to the phone logs. Gonzalez will spend 210 days in jail and will serve 2 years of probation. Now, here's a thought before we all knock Miss Gonzalez. This could be a very popular new way to convince felons to drop their appeals and save taxpayers a fortune in court cost. Regardless, Miss Gonzalez, you are this week's inductee into the Cigar Insane Asylum. I know you guys might want to go to prison on purpose if they knew she was. She was in their block.
Oh my God!
Did they smoke cigars?
Right. All right. That being said, I really want to thank. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
No, just before you go, I want you guys you and Coop to plug where you're going to be Monday. A lot of people are asking. I'm sure people want to hear it again, and are going to be looking forward to that Monday show.
Developing Palates.
Yeah, so this is Aaron's show. Aaron's my co-host on Primetime, but Aaron is actually putting this whole show together on his brand, Developing Palates. That's going to be Monday night. You could tune into the Facebook Live on the Developing Palates page. So definitely tune in to that. 9 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. I'll be on there. Coop will be on there. A lot of other people on there. It should be an interesting show. I want to thank everybody for joining us this Saturday morning. We hope we made this Saturday morning entertaining and enjoyable for you for these past few hours. Join us next week as we have Scott Weeks of Iconic Leaf. Hasn't been on the show for
it's been a while.
Yes, it should be very interesting.
He was at the trade show, actually, too.
He was at the trade show, working hard, as always.
Yeah.
Billy, Gus, thank you for coming on KMA for the first time. It was a pleasure to finally actually meet you guys face-to-face and have you on our show. And hopefully we'll have you on again when you guys are ready to talk about that new line. Coop, I will see you Monday. Everybody else, have a great weekend. Keep it lit.